the conversation we're about to have has the potential of offending you, I get it. And I accept that. But I think it's necessary. And the question of the day is, looking at the participation of sangomas and the scandals in which they've often gotten themselves in, it begs the following question then. Will they ever make it to heaven? Generally. And I want to qualify this by simply looking at evidence based on a case. And based on this evidence, you and I will have to make it make sense to me if sangomas stands a chance to make it to heaven based on this behavior. Now, there has been a case that has been decided in court. And this case was decided in court, or it happens because Sangoma told her that your father bewitched your mom, hence your mom died. Thus, there was a reaction. That case was decided and she's been sentenced. There's another story, a story of Shalaba. Shalaba is a woman, very young, chances are around 28, if I'm not mistaken. Shalaba sacrificed her son, not daughter, a 2-year-old boy who was then sold to Sangoma for 75,000 rand. Or the child might have not been sold to Sangoma, but the Sangoma participated, and to an extent that it is this Sangoma that pointed at the grave of this child. Then I asked the question, will Sangomas, when they die, just like Koko Manzini, having listened to the likes of Koko Maweni, being proud of their actions, will they ever make it to heaven? I ask. Now, I want us to take it off here. Listen to this one. Daughter plead guilty to the murder of her father. Polokwane High Court has convicted Molokadi Malape, 28, after she pleaded guilty to a brutal murder of her father, Dr. Malekudu Johannes Mahlape, who was a circuit manager at the Limpopo Department of Education. The incident occurred on the 28th of December 2023 at the deceased home in Makwangan Zone 1 outside Polokwane. Mahlape was convicted in terms of section 112, bracket 2 of the Criminal Procedure Act 51 of 1977. On charges of murder, robbery with aggravating circumstances, the court sentenced her to life imprisonment for murder, 15 years imprisonment for robbery, with the sentence running concurrently. Now, the story I'm reading is very interesting because the lady is sentenced. As I've indicated in the beginning, the sentencing happens because Sangoma told her that your mom was killed by your father. Now, allow me to take you into a journey. I'm going to take you into a journey, and at the end you will realize that what I'm asking is basically me saying, based on this, when they die, do they go to heaven? And I have more questions to ask you, but before we can successfully ask those questions, let us start here. If you are not yet subscribed, what are you waiting for? Come on, good people, because to subscribe it is free, to like the video it is free, to comment in the comment section below it is free of charge, to click the notification bell it is free of charge, to share this video it is free of charge, to watch this video until the end it is free of charge. Also, good people, come on, to watch the ads it's free of charge, and that's how you financially contribute to this YouTube channel. Speaking about financially contribution to the channel, you can become a member of this YouTube channel from as little as 20 Rand a month. You can also use the super thanks button. In case you don't want to do that, guys, there is a way where you can use my media company banking details to donate to the channel, and you know what I'm saying, we'll bring you more, and also guys want to buy more equipment. So the power is in your hands. Please do the honorable thing as we proceed. So Mahlape, who was convicted, okay, we have read that part. Now listen to this one. 4 other accused: Tsepo Gabriel Ronoto 34, Hlolo Kras Molokane 34, Motlori Moria Motole 34, and Michelle Silo Molokhwane 42 appeared along Mhlape. They faced charges of conspiracy to commit murder and robbery with aggravating circumstances, possession of unlicensed firearm, ammunition. The trial for these accused has been separated and postponed to 20th of June. So it's recently started now. A few days back as of us publishing this video, but I did this story on a different channel where when it has just happened, the sentencing has just happened. It was way before June, before mid-June, way beginning of June. So I've been meaning to do this, so I kept this. Now let's go on to you know there's something that you're going to notice here. Listen to this. The court heard that Mhlape, who is the daughter of the deceased, orchestrated the murder following claim made by a traditional healer, Mokhohlane, accused number 3, who alleged that the father was responsible for her mother's death through the use of umuti when attempted to retaliate using traditional means failed. Mhlape enlisted the help of various family members to hire contract killer, agreeing to pay 200,000 for the murder. On the night of the incident, Mhlape unlocked the gate and the main door, granting the perpetrators access to the house. The deceased was ambushed in his bedroom while asleep, shot multiple times, robbed of several valuables, including his cell phones, Ford Ranger, double cap, believed to have been used during the crime, was seized, and during the arrest in Mongkweng, at the firearm allegedly used in the killing was recovered during the arrest in Zabadeli. In mitigation, Mhlape apologized to the family, noting that she is the prime caregiver to the 1 year and a 9-month-old daughter, and unresolved dispute with her father. However, the state advocate Munewa argued that the guilt plea was motivated by overwhelming evidence rather than genuine remorse. She described the matter as a gruesome and heartless, urging the court to impose the prescribed minimum sentence, which the court did that. Now, I want you to tell me something. There's something very interesting here. So, the reason I took you into this journey, it is because in an African culture, when a person dies, I will say there are different beliefs in Africa. But when you hear me referring to African culture, I'm referring specifically to this thing. When a person dies, we often believe that they are close to God. They have access to God. They can ask things that we want, and they can be given those things on our behalf. The question that I have for you is, how do a person who's full of deceits, lies, like this traditional healer who, in English, where they just say traditional healer, but we know as we were following the story, it is a Sangoma. That person who deceives the family and propel them to make such a thing, horrible, horrendous crimes are committed by this person. How does this then translate into the following? Because it's very interesting to me. How do these people get to heaven and intercede on our behalf? Because when they are dead, general consensus says they are next to God. The question is, when do they repent? Because they die pridefully. Look at how Kokumanzini died, how she was buried, how she died pridefully. Okay, we don't know during the last moment before her death, but generally some of them, they tell you they die proud of being Sangoma, right? Of which, it's good when you are proud of what you are doing. Whether bad or good, God will deal with that. My challenge is, we have often heard Amasangoma saying that when Ingabi, hitmen to those who doesn't know, when Ingabi would have done their job of taking somebody's life, they go to, that one is given. Fact, they go to Sangomas to cleanse them. Most of the time, Sangomas. In fact, it's Sangoma. They go to Amasangoma. You know what? Back in the days, we used to have Isangoma. And then you will have Inyanga. But these days, Sangomas tends to be both. The topic for another day. Back in the days, we used to have Isangoma, separate from Inyanga. My grandfather, from the mother's side, was Inyanga, but not Isangoma. Our neighbor was Isangoma. But these days, the two is intertwined. Be it as it may, they will consult both for cleansing. But we, the family members, when the very same people who participate in these things, because to me, according to the law, by the way, and generally, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, if my grandfather participated in cleansing a person who took somebody's life for a living, then my grandfather will participate in cleansing that person also for a living. My grandfather is participating in criminality. This I say as a belief, not only from, it's a belief independent of the law, but the law says if crime is committed and you knew about it, you didn't report about it, you are an accomplice. So the law will tell my grandfather that we will arrest you because you knew about this, you did not report this to the authorities. Therefore, you are an accomplice. And I'm not even commenting from such perspective. I'm just giving you this on a general perspective to say, we need to investigate, we need to interrogate, we need to look into this. There's more to this. But as family members of the deceased, who will make an example about Ukokumanzin Jengamaj, when they are dead, like any other family, we believe they are next to God. Can they? Oh God, He accepts people. Whether they are bad or good, they are accepted by God. So what's the need to change if at the end of the day, God is going to take you? I'm going to ask that question. It's about time we ask ourselves these questions, because these are the questions that I've been asking myself. Take, for instance, when we live on planet Earth, there are people who choose to rob us. We're going to go and work. Bona, they're just watching us so they can rob us. That's how they live. That's how they make living. So they make a choice. They don't want to go to work. They just want to work on us. There are those who wants to be inyanga, or others are choosing. Okay, let's topic for another day. They're choosing. Leave that. Let's just say they are chosen. So there are those who become inkabi then, whose career is to take our lives. There are those with evil hearts. Like evil hearts. Some of those, they are not the inkabi themselves. They are not the witches. No. You know, when somebody has an evil heart, they can deprive you food. Once you see that there is enough, they eat. Instead of giving you the leftovers, they will rather take it to the dustbin. We've got such people who have little regard with the human family. So, listen to this. I'm not even done naming these horrible beings that we get to live with. Some, they choose to sell their bodies for a living, which is against God, right? From what we know. Some, they are abusive husbands to their wives. Some of their wives have falsely accused their husbands of rape, and to an extent that the husband is serving behind bars. We've seen stories like that. Some of these people are reckless. They go drinking. They might have a good heart. They just go drink alcohol, and then they start speeding cars, and they get other people involved in an accident. I've seen a person dying as a result of someone who was reckless. He was heavily drunk, decided to drive his car, and then bump into these people, killed the driver, and 2 people were injured, and they ran away, right? People like that. And there's so many evil that is happening in this country. Some are sacrificing people. But here's the thing. When every one of these people die, we as family members of each and every one of these, despite the overwhelming evidence of their evil deeds, despite the overwhelming evidence of the fact that we know that these ones were cruel, were evil, and they were proud of their doings, yet we believe that somehow when they die, they go to heaven. Then I'm saying to myself, or I'm asking myself, so if there is no incentive for other people to do well, so God accepts everybody, so why must we bother then be good people if God accepts everybody as they are when they die? They don't need to change. They don't need to comply to the rules. They don't need to do things. They just have to leave. And I know I could have taken this as far deep as I can, but in today's episode, I had intentionally chosen to focus on the participation of sangomas, because these days they are on media for bad reasons. I remember the other time, if I'm not mistaken, I was listening to the former Sangoma Koko Uskoteni proudly saying he has done some cleansing to Inkabis. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, so you know that they took somebody's life, which they have no right, no biblical right, no moral right, no constitutional right. You know, as a matter of fact, that their participation or their involvement in this is spiritually, morally, psychologically, constitutionally, anything you can think of, incorrect. You know. Yet you go and you cleanse that person. And you have the audacity to tell us online that when you did such cleansing, we've seen that repeatedly from sangomas. So they are proud of their act or their action or their saviors. Then now it is this issue of sangomas participating in this. I know some have distanced themselves from the act of cruelty where human body parts are sold to them. But majority of the time when there's a case that involves somebody that is regarded as traditional healers, you will see that a Sangoma is involved. Hence the question. These people claims to be God. Claims to see a world we don't see. Communicate with people we don't see. Live sometimes in a space we don't live in. Having the privilege of living in such a world, but being found to commit the most horrible act. The two does not correlate. If I'm exposed to angels and I see the goodness of angels, but then I go and I do inkabi duties, the two does not correlate. Somewhere there's a disconnect. With this episode, I don't aim to provide answers. I want you to comment in the comment section. But I've been bothered by this for a very long time to say, I'm finding it very difficult to reconcile this. The idea that you've got a Sangoma that is in communication with a different world, in a world where there's no sin as they portray. In a world where you are communicating with people who are very much closer to God. They give you directions to go and bewitch people. So God must be a witch then. Angel must be wicked, well. Because if you are communicating with such people, who then gives you ideas on where to find herbs so you can cleanse a man who's running away, who's a fugitive of justice, who has just killed somebody. But these people who are on the other side, they show you herbs to cleanse such people without even accountability. They are running away from the law, hence I call them fugitive of the law. Yet you are participating in their cleansing. There's something that does not make sense. There's a disconnect somewhere here. I'm a man born under sin, subject to correction. I came before you to ask these questions because they remain unanswered to me, that how do these people called Sangomas, who are exposed to a world we are not exposed to, how is it that they are often found on the wrong side of the law? How is it that they are often participants of serious crimes, most especially with killings and human body parts, giving people liso, meaning, controlling a person on how they should feel about somebody, without natural affections and all these things. I'm sitting and I'm saying to myself, wow, so you mean to tell me that God is corrupt? He tells these people on the right to do good, and then the same God, he tells the ancestors of the ones on the left to tell their sangomas or whatever the thing might be, to tell them to or give them ideas as to how to cleanse these people who are taking the lives of this one. God must be confused, ne? If that is true, then God must then be confused. I know you will take offense, but I want you to make me understand, because I've been trying to reconcile the two, to say, where is reconcilable grounds, or where can the two meet if God is good on the right hand, but on the left hand, the very same good God communicate to the late people who on earth, communicate to them to give ideas to the sangomas so they can cleanse and commit evilness. So God is good and bad then. That's what we are saying. Make it make sense to me. This is a question that has been bothering me for a very long time. I want us to interrogate this. What's then the incentives to change? I'm summing up everything now. Is there an incentive to change for me as a human being? If God can be good and evil, what is the incentive for me to change? If God can be both. he can be evil and good at the same time. Is there an incentive to do good? If at the end of the day, when you die, you're still going to make it to heaven, the same heaven where a good person goes to, you're going to be going there. Is there an incentive to do good?